Okay, so I want to feel sexy. What should I put on? Maybe this sweater? Oh, I know, a kilt. I love kilts. They're super sexy. Or maybe this t-shirt sends the right message. A deep v-neck. Tank top. Maybe I should go with a jacket with no shirt underneath. I don't have the abs for that. I know, jean shorts and a cutoff tank. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What do I need to wear to feel sexiest of them all? So I don't know about you, but if you're anything like most gay men I know, feeling sexy, feeling desirable, feeling beautiful is a very important thing. And more than that, we want the people that we're spending time with to also be perceived as desirable and sexy and beautiful and radiant by our friends, by society at large, because it reflects well on us. Because let's be honest, being perceived as being sexy in today's culture gives us a whole host of benefits. From increasing the number of followers you have, to a greater number of sexual partners, to better pay, to better seats at a restaurant sometimes. Being sexy matters. Being sexy makes a big difference. But what are the sexiest qualities a person can have? Because if you ask me, yeah, the abs and the straight white teeth and the perfect hair and the big dick are all nice things to have. But is that truly going to be what makes you sexiest? Because in the words of somebody with whom I hooked up recently, I've had a lot of mediocre sex with very attractive people and a lot of amazing sex with very mediocre looking people. Actually, this is so much more my speed. Sweatpants and a long sleeve t-shirt, that's actually often when I feel the sexiest. So what are the qualities? And this is just my humble opinion. I'm sure there are other people who have very different lists of what makes somebody sexy. But what I actually think is most attractive about somebody is something like kindness, intelligence, emotional awareness, a desire to make the world a better place, curiosity about the world, being a good conversationalist, an appreciation for nature, an appreciation for art, a sense of humor, a joyfulness in the way that they live. I personally think those are much sexier qualities than chiseled abs or perfect hair. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't appreciate those more typical external qualities, because I certainly do. You know, I think it's always nice to look at somebody who has a beautiful exterior, but that in and of itself is not enough to wow me. And I've met some spectacularly, unbelievably beautiful individuals who, when you start to interact with them, just realize like, ooh, that was your best quality, it seems. And the more I engage with you, the less attracted I am to you. And maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe you're just into, you know, a nice silent hookup. Just bend over, pull down your pants, and don't say anything. And if that's what gets your rocks off, mazel tov. I'm happy for you. As long as that's bringing you joy, no shade, no tea, you do you, boo. The interesting thing for me is I've become much more comfortable in my body, and as I've grown into a body that I aesthetically like so much more and I feel sexy in my skin, having a partner who reflects that back has actually mattered less and less. When we were in Mexico a couple weeks ago for Christmas to New Year's, we had some beautiful sensual experiences with some guys who, none of whom were ever going to be cover models. We had amazing conversation beforehand, we had connected in a meaningful way, we had shared thoughts and ideas and passions, and I really liked them as human beings, and that in turn made them so much more attractive to me. Now this is my experience I'm sharing, not everyone's. There's a good chance I might be at least partially demisexual, meaning that part of how I get turned on is through an emotional connection, and if that emotional connection isn't there, I'm really not interested in sex. And I also don't think this is an excuse for saying, hey, you know, I can just let my body go, I can eat McDonald's every day all day, I can, you know, skip the gym 7 days a week, and somebody should just love me for me. Like, I don't necessarily believe that. Like, yes, I'm a believer of love yourself where you are. Yes, I am a believer that so long as you're making an effort, everybody is beautiful. But I also see a lot of people, my family included, a large number of my family, who don't put in an effort. Like my father, he hasn't exercised, he's 83 years old. I don't think he's ever exercised in his life. He's diabetic, he eats like crap, he just doesn't give a fuck. And his body and his health reflect that. And I know I've said this before on the YouTube channel, but I often find it surprising, sad, discouraging when you'll see people on hookup apps reach out to somebody who's really, really super fit, and they're not. They clearly have not cultivated that aspect of themselves, and then they get pissed at the super fit person for not replying to them or ignoring them. And it's like, Well, first off, what do you think you have in common? Second, what do you think you're going to be offering this person? And you might have a great personality. You might have something really beautiful inside that they could eventually find sexy. But oftentimes people who are super invested in having a perfect physique, that's where their energy is going. That's where their focus is going. That's where they're going to be spending most of their time. And so that's going to be their biggest priority. And like I've been saying in this video, I don't necessarily want to hook up with people like that. If your whole life revolves around your physical fitness, then good for you. I'm glad that brings you joy. No shade. But what else is there? I think kindness is sexy. I think generosity is sexy. I think quietness, humility, an ability to be with yourself and be disconnected from social media, disconnected from technology. I believe appreciating the natural world and enjoying hikes and kayaking and all that kind of good outdoorsy stuff. I think that's sexy. And so the point of all of this is to encourage you that you can be sexy at any age, any height, any race, any body shape, so long as you're making an effort. But what really would turn me on is if you've cultivated your heart, if you've cultivated your mind, if you've cultivated those internal qualities that make somebody truly beautiful. Because I really do think that who you are on the inside does show through on the outside. Angelica Houston said in an interview with Vulture magazine that people get the careers and the faces they deserve. And I think there's a bit of truth to that. That when you think thoughts of kindness, when you think thoughts of generosity, when you think thoughts of humility and love and generosity of spirit, that you become more attractive. Now, I firmly believe that I've become a better looking person over the years, largely because of this, because I meditate every day and I chant every day and I offer prayers and blessings and I try to be a blessing for every person that I meet. I think I look better now than I did when I was 20 or 25. Could be other things, who knows, but I really do think that. And yes, I do spend a lot of time in the gym, and yes, I did just have cosmetic surgery to make my pecker bigger. But that's not what I think actually makes me really attractive. Those are things I did because I found them interesting for me. It wasn't about trying to attract somebody else so much as it is, I want to feel good in my skin, I want to look like what I see in the mirror because I want that to turn me on. But I know that my best attribute is not my dick or my muscles or my face or my hair or any of that stuff. My best attribute is my soul. And I feel that way about my husband too. I frequently say to him, I think you're the most attractive man I've ever met. Not because of how you look, though it's super hot and super cute, but because your soul sits so close to your skin. I remember the first time I saw his picture and all I could see was light shining through him. That's the kind of person I encourage you to be. Be somebody whose light shines out of every pore. And I promise, if you do that, people will find you sexier. And also, you will probably end up looking sexier. And it doesn't matter what you wear, what you don't wear, or what you could wear, you are beautiful. You are beautiful because you exist. You are beautiful because you're alive. And if you can only see your own inner radiance, the world will reflect that back at you. I'm Kalen, this is Ecstatic Self. I hope you have a fantastic day. Namaste.